what to expect when you're hiring people, and how to mitigate your stress when you're doing this. Hey everyone, this is Gil again from Dumagetti Life, in short, Duma Life, where I try my best to help expats, Filipinos, more predominantly Phil-Ams, Kababayans, Balikbayans, transition back into the Philippines. Hopefully this channel and this video brings value to you. So if you haven't, please subscribe to that channel and hit that notification bell to be updated with all the fresh videos that will be coming out every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a message from one of my really good friends slash mentors, Chris, about making a particular video about what to pay construction workers, the daily rate, as well as what to expect. Like I said before, I have been going back and forth to the Philippines for many years now. I went to college there, that's where I met my wife, I do business there, and then I just came back to New York about 7 months ago to, get more capital for a business venture that I want to do. Excuse me, I'm gonna sip on this tea. If you guys ever want to drink some really good tea, here's a link to my peppermint tea, lots of benefits. Back to the task at hand. I want to explain to you and break down what I have experienced when dealing with construction workers, as well as basically employees, having employees in the Philippines. Let's try to focus on in construction work. So the rates I'm going to quote you are just from what I have experienced in the Dumagetti area, Negros Oriental area. Throughout the Philippines, it can differ because obviously the standard of living per island might be a little bit different. Dumagetti is fairly cheap, so and then everything's competitive, right? No person in their mind is going to pay extra if the daily rate is a particular rate, right? So with this in mind, please do not seem as if I am insensitive or a human trafficker. Or is that, what can I say, human trafficker? Or someone who is like wrong and paying my rate. I'm only going for what is the daily rate in the area. I don't need to come in there as a foreigner trying to be a hero because it's gonna burn a hole through my pockets and my budget. That's the most important thing there, okay? If you're gonna do business as a Filipino, think as a Filipino. With that said, construction workers, usually if you are doing it on your own, as in you are getting your own people, there's no staffing, you're not getting an engineer, that's another segment within itself. You have to run through the proper channels as far as going for permits and going for like building permits, standard permits, as in like if it's a commercial building or residential building, what is the gap you need to be from the street and all that stuff. That can be in another video. I particularly, to be honest, don't know the specifics because I have runners to do that for me. So maybe in a later video I'll explain that more. But this is just to the core, what to expect when you're hiring people and how to mitigate your stress when you're doing this. Like me, at times I am in America, the work is done in the Philippines. A lot of room and space for milking, which I don't like. So number one, staffing. Obviously, depending on your budget, the more the merrier and the faster the work can be done. Generally speaking, when I'm doing any project, if I know it takes more than 1 month, I know that the project is going to take more than 1 month. In the Philippines, usually all my construction is done in cement. Rebar, cement, mesh wire. This is not like wood and pine and how they do it here in the States. Staffing. I usually hire 3 to 4 guys. Now that consists of 1 foreman and 3 help. So the foreman is a guy who's the most experienced. I suggest you get someone that's very well known in the area and you see his work. Don't even take it as word of mouth, because what happens is, and whether some of you dislike this video on this or not, sometimes families will always bring up the guy they want to get, they want to just give the job. So it could be like, oh, just give it to my uncle, give it to my brother because he has this experience. I don't do that. I choose a guy who's very well known in the area and I start looking at his work. I'll go to the house and see his work and his quality, and then from there I'll judge like, oh, this is the guy that I want. The 3 helpers that you should be getting, because he has to be the one that's leading the crew, and usually when it comes to cement stuff or putting the tile down, 1 guy is the lowest level guy. He's the one taking garbage around, picking stuff around. 2, there's a guy mixing the cement, that's, churning the cement. And then 3, there's a guy that's passing cement to the foreman, helping him like the fine details and things like that. And usually that's what I have noticed. Or the foreman is the guy that's telling everyone, okay, do this, do that. He's allocating the job, the structure of the job, and the flow of the work, which is fine. 2, compensation. This is where the fine line of what is fair and what is not fair, and am I paying too much, or things like that come into play. Because you have to understand, somebody might be trying to skim off you by adding more onto it, and then they get a portion of it. So I generally ask what is the daily rate for a foreman and a helper within the area. I'm not gonna willingly give you extra money that I don't need to, you know what I'm saying? So, and I know it's not a lot of money, but in the scope of things, the bigger picture of things, if you're trying to do a project, don't think American, don't think in dollars, think in pesos, right? The daily rate for Dumaguete at the present moment for a foreman is about 450 pesos per day. The daily rate for a helper is about 400 a day. Now, this can go up or down depending on you, obviously, but it can go down if you provide lunch or possibly breakfast for your crew. There have been times I have done lunch for them and I only pay the foreman 50 pesos less. So if you wanted to go that route, that's an option. But you always give the option to the crew. Like, what do you want? Do you want with or without food? But the thing is, this is like my advice to you, everything has to follow suit. Because what's going to happen is, the guy that you are paying straight out with no food, he's still going to be mixed in with the guys who are given food. So me, having a particular heart, I'm going to feel bad. I'm going to give you food anyway, because most of the time, those guys are not going to go home unless they're super close. But if the job site is a little bit further than their personal house, what do you even think? If they didn't bring their own food, they're going to sit there and I'm going to feel bad. So me in particular, I try my best I use the foreman as a guidance. Like, okay, what do you want? Food or no food? And then that's what I usually hit off everybody. If the guy wants food, then I'm going to hit everybody off with food at a particular rate. I hope that helped you there. Number 3, payment advances. Now, this is a very big thing in the Philippines because everybody, well, in America, there's many people that live paycheck to paycheck. In the Philippines, especially those particular rates, people live day to day, paycheck to paycheck. I mean, they don't really get paychecks, the daily workers, but week to week. Advances. This is very important. I do this with all my workers, and I tell them upfront in the beginning. Yes, you can advance on your paycheck. However, I will only pay you what you have worked. What? What the f? Up to the day that you want to get the advance. So as in, let me do it live here because you can better understand. If I'm paying you $450 a day, they're gonna work 6 days. So that's $2,700 per week. In the middle of the week, right? In the middle of the week, you wanted some money and you only worked 3 days. That's how much I'm giving you. No more, no less. Because you are entitled to that money because you work for that many days. The moment somebody asks me in advance and they didn't work those particular days, it's red flags in my brain because I have been burnt many times. Somebody said, "Oh, can I get?" So I have people working in the house. Can I get my monthly advance? Because like a month in advance. I got burnt many times. People don't come back. I'm out a month worth of salary. Then I'm asked out. You know what I'm saying? So I made it a point that you only get advances based on the days that you work. Number 4, bonuses. Us being Americans, coming from a very privileged country with and obviously there's an excess of money that can be had here compared to the Philippines. Obviously businessmen in the Philippines are in the same position as most Americans. Now, with that said, when it comes to bonuses, this is your prerogative. You can give it to them, you cannot give it to them, it's up to you. Now, me personally, I give bonuses towards the end of the job. I don't tell nobody, I don't promise nobody. I take it towards the end of the job. Or I take everyone out to the beach and just have like a barbecue family day type thing. That's what I do. So it's up to you. 5, this is a very touch and go situation, the drama that arises with construction workers as well as employees. Now, just like in any country, in any community, environment, society, there's gonna be lazy people. Okay? So everyone's gonna have a drama. I used to work with a gentleman, every payday, next day, take a day off because the money's there. One day millionaire. Right? That's happened with some of my employees where the money's there ready. Like I pay people on Saturday. Sunday comes around, They go to the cockpit. They probably lose or win some type of money. More than likely lose, because the house always wins. Those of you who gamble, you know that. And then they get drunk on Sunday, drown themselves in their sorrow or their winnings, and then don't come back on Monday because they're too hungover. This is an issue for me because my productivity goes down. Think about it. If you're hungover, you're gonna definitely milk the job because you're gonna be impaired. That's the drama that I face sometimes. You know, I can't do this, I can't do that. There's always an excuse. Yes, you're allowed an excuse from time to time, but if it's a concurrent thing and it's chronically happening, I don't want you around my situation because you're costing me more money than anything. Right? Another drama thing that I usually face when it comes, especially when it comes to construction, especially recently, is milking the job, especially towards the tail end of the job, because they know they might not pick up a job in another couple of months, so they're going to stretch it out as much as you can. I mitigate that by constantly having family take pictures of their jobs, as well as friends who just stop by the house, stop by the house, because I do surprise visits. That's what I do. I suggest you do the same if you can. Have somebody out of that circle to erase the doubt that they're in the act of trying to cover up or whatever. Like my brother, I'll call my brother up and like, listen, bro, can you stop by my house and take pictures of their job and things like that? Over the years, people understand how I am. So productivity has gotten pretty good on my end because they know Mr. Gilson Vergara will have anyone come to the house at any given time to check me out. So when that happens, they're less likely to mess around. I'll give you an example on my phone. So they'll give me the notes, daily earnings for the day and things like that, like this. I don't know if you can see. They'll do all the work, what the work has done. They'll send us all these pictures as far as how clean the house is, and all that stuff. These are what's been happening to the house. I have these periodical, can't say the word right now, periodical, like checkups, surprise checkups. That's what I do when it comes to like mitigating any type of milking of the job. That is how I handle construction workers and a little bit of how I handle employees back in the Philippines, specifically Dumaguete. So take that into consideration. However, the energy I have, the flow I have in there, I have to try my best to run a clean ship. I don't want to open up myself to the point where I'm vulnerable for anyone taking advantage of me. I'm very big on that. And I try my best to instill in anyone who works for me, with me, that integrity is a very big thing. I have made my own mistakes over the years as far as giving advances. Just last month I was chasing down 10,000 pesos because I thought I could trust a person. It's part of the game. Like a while ago I let out 30,000 because the person was working for me. I felt bad. The family needed a medical condition to be dealt with. I helped out with that, and they still bit me. It is what it is. What can you do? But thank God the losses I have had in these businesses or my life have been made up with a lot of positives. I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful with the life Ruby and I have been given and have been bestowed. So with that said, I hope that brought value to you, as well as those who are thinking about transitioning or living in the Philippines at the moment. Put in your feedback in the comment section below, your horror stories, your advice, anything that I missed, let me know. Anything I can add on to my life, let me know. Comment down below. Oh, I always forget. Every Monday, 9 p.m., always a new video. I'm going to be uploading a new video all the time. And join the live stream. Whatever questions you have for me, or whatever questions are down there, I'll be answering as well. But I would love for you to jump onto the chat. You don't even have to speak. Just let me know you're there, because at least we can converse in that way. I'll be posting this video sometime around the 20-something. I'll be in the Philippines, so if I am slow to respond to your comments, please forgive me. I'll get to you as soon as possible. So that's it for me. Take care. Bye.